Hello, this is a special edition of the Bastard Review. Mark Pearson 101 posted 20 questions for wrestling fans to respond, and I'm chiming in with my responses. I'm also putting his link up to the right. Check him out if you're a fan of wrestling. He has some pretty good reviews. I highly recommend them. So the first question is, who is the best wrestler in the world? I am assuming it's at this time and not just overall. I can only speak from experience. I'm sure there are wrestlers over in Japan that are better than my pick, but I haven't seen a lot of Japan, so I can't really include them into the mix. I would say for my money, the best wrestler right now is Shawn Michaels. He's not always been my favorite wrestler, but the guy's pushing 50, and he still consistently has great matches, and the matches are always high profile. I will be critical and say that I'm kind of disappointed he hasn't really gotten over a lot of younger wrestlers. I mean, he's the person that you should be pairing up with your inexperienced wrestlers, because he could teach them so many things and you'd be building your future superstars. But overall, I think he's the best wrestler in the world right now. Number 2, if you could only watch matches of one wrestler for the rest of your life, who would that be? I'll probably go with someone that you wouldn't expect. I would say Eddie Guerrero. He's always had good matches, and even though he's no longer with us, we still have those matches that he gave to us. Just always entertaining, whether he's a heel or a face. Question number 3, who is the sexiest woman in wrestling today? Well, I gotta give my shout out to Mickie James. She may not be at the top spot, but I always have a soft spot for her. Number 4 is, who is the best announcer in wrestling today? Well, obviously, it's still Jim Ross. I mean, he set the bar so high for announcing that all of the new people are going to have to work that much harder just to impress me. Question number 5, is wrestling better or worse than 5 years ago, which was 2004? I would say it's worse. From a storyline perspective, I just don't think the storylines are as engaging as they were back then. The wrestling itself is okay. I mean, you've got a lot of competent wrestlers in the ring. I just don't think they really have the spark to excite the crowd. And there again, you should be using your veterans to educate your younger wrestlers. You know, instead of having Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker, which was really good match, you know, it was probably match of the year for 2009, they should be molding the young wrestlers and making, like I said, making them the future superstars of tomorrow. You know, what's going to happen when Triple H and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels are all gone? You're going to have these young wrestlers who the crowd can't really get behind, and you're just going to paint yourself into a corner. Anyway, let's go on. When Vince McMahon retires, who do you believe should replace him? Well, if speculation is correct, Vince has no desire to retire anytime soon, and it will probably either be Shane or Stephanie's kid who take over the reins. But if things change and he does decide to retire, I can definitely see Stephanie and Hunter taking over. I just don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Question number 7, who is the most underrated wrestler in the world today? I'm going to split this up between both companies. In the WWE, I gotta put my money on Shelton Benjamin. I mean, that guy is an amazing wrestler, and I don't understand why they haven't invested more time into building his character and making him, you know, somebody that either the crowd can hate or get behind. I mean, he obviously has to work on his mic skills, but you've got people there that can help him do that, you know, and I think that's one of the shortfalls of the WWE, is that they don't invest time in anybody. They just throw wrestlers up against the wall, and if they stick, fine, and if they don't, well, you know, we tried. Out of TNA, I would say Christopher Daniels. I mean, he should be a leader right now. He should be a main eventer right now. And yet they've got all of these former WWE superstars in the spotlight. and they're not relying on their homegrown talent. I mean, pretty much Christopher Daniels, I think, has been there since the beginning. And if he hasn't, he came in just after they started the company. So he's my pick. Question number 8 is, who is the most overrated wrestler today? I don't like critiquing wrestlers necessarily. Everybody's got their own favorite. There are some wrestlers that I have to question why people like, but I'm not going to put them down for liking them. There's no such thing as a wrong opinion. So I'm going to split this up again between both companies. In WWE, I would say Mark Henry is overrated. I don't see why the WWE has kept him for so long. The guy, he can't do a whole lot. He may have been the world's strongest man at one time, but that was a long time ago, and I don't see why they still say that he is. In TNA, I'm probably going to get some flack for this, but I would say Sting is the most overrated wrestler in TNA today. He really hasn't done a lot for the product. He obviously hasn't improved ratings at all. And he hasn't gotten over any of the younger stars. I mean, who's he in a feud with now? Mick Foley. Before that, he was with the Main Event Mafia. I guess he's still with them. And before that, he won the title from Samoa Joe instead of putting Joe over. That was just kind of disappointing. I realized that, he just does what he's told, and the writers are the ones who are ultimately to blame. But Sting hasn't really done anything of consequence in TNA. Question number 9 is, who is the best brawler in wrestling today? Well, I would probably say The Undertaker is the best brawler. You gotta say that 3 times really fast. Question number 10, who does the best promo in wrestling today? I would say Chris Jericho. He's always been a great promo man. He is very good on the mic. And while I didn't like the actual match between him and the Legends at WrestleMania, the build-up to that match was really good. I mean, Jericho just has a knack for making people hate him. Question number 11, will ECW still be around this time next year? Of course it will be around next year. ECW does pretty decent ratings. I think it does the best ratings on Sci-Fi. I'm not sure about that. But it also does the same ratings, if not a little better than TNA. So I'm sure the WWE is happy with ECW, or at least content to keep it around. One show that I'm questioning is SmackDown. The My Network network hasn't really taken off, I think, as much as WWE had hoped. I think SmackDown's still getting a good rating on there, but I don't get it, and I don't think anybody in California gets it on Comcast. I don't know about the rest of the country, but that may be one of the reasons why they started up this Superstars show on WGN. WGN has affiliations all over the country, and if My Network goes under, or if WWE feels that they aren't getting the exposure that they should, they could ask WGN for an extra hour and change SmackDown over to there. Anyway, question number 12 is, who was WWE's MVP of 2008? I would say Edge was the most valuable player. He's been in the main event all year. I mean, he's either been champion or he's been going after the championship. It's obvious that the WWE is willing to invest their time in him because they see him as one of the very few future stars.